How many years ago was it that I was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals?
36.
Close. 39.
Oh, man.
39 years. 39 years. I was drafted in 1984. And when I look at the list of players that, obviously have gone in, most deservingly, every single one of them belongs in. I look on the list that I'm on now.
Yeah.
There are guys that went well before me, like Max Montoya and Chris Collinsworth, who've already should have had their days.
Yep.
But none of us have had our days just simply because Dave Lapham is on that list. Lamar Parrish is on that list. Bob Trumpy's on that list. Reggie Williams is on that list. All those guys were there before me, well before me.
Yeah.
And all those other guys played on the initial Super Bowl team back in 1982.
Yeah, I understand.
So, I mean, and I know that the Bengals, and I've said this in regards to Corey, when Corey complained about it, about 10 days ago.
Right.
I said, look, eventually we're all going to get in. It's just a matter of, how the season ticket holders view us, I guess. And, sometimes you forget the longer these guys and me and everybody else gets away from the game, the less likely we are to get voted in that year that we think we're going in. You know what I'm saying?
No, I totally understand. And I love football and the history of it and respect for all the guys that played before you and after you and all. I understand all that. But to me, in our argument that we have had here, and I know you can't make the argument, I mean, there have been 2 quarterbacks who won MVPs with the Bengals organization. There's now been 3 quarterbacks who have played in Super Bowls for the Bengals. One is Joe Burrow, who is still playing, so his Ring of Honor day, he'll be many years down the road. So I just thought the first one I could understand because you had a Hall of Famer, you had the founder of the organization, that initial class. Last year's class, to me, I thought you should have been in just based on the resume. So we'll see what happens this year.
But here's the problem. All of those guys are going in, and all the guys who eventually will go in should have already been in.
Yeah.
I remember saying this, and I've never hid away from this. I did Monday Night Football for 20 years.
Yeah.
2 on TV and 18 on radio.
Yeah.
And whether it be a Monday night game or a Thursday night game, no matter what team that we were visiting as the home team, they were always honoring somebody. They were always it seemed like they were always putting somebody in their Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Including the Jaguars and including the Panthers, who did not come into existence until 1995.
That's right.
And people used to ask me, so what's it like being in the Cincinnati Ring of Honor? I was well, I'm not. They don't have one.
Yeah.
And they didn't have one. And that's what I was talking about in regards to Corey. So whether it does happen this morning, I have a sneaking suspicion of what's going on. But I will say this, that there are guys on that list that played well before me and had just a big impact on those teams as I had on my team. So whether it's me and somebody else this year, it's going to be awesome. That's going to be great. If it's not going to be disappointing. And I'm not letting you send some letter. I'm not letting
it's already written.
Getting involved. I mean, you've already gotten yourself involved. And I appreciate that on my behalf. I love that fact that you're a great partner. You want to support me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, and it really just somebody needs to say something. I mean, I will distance myself. I was like, Boomer didn't want me to send this letter. I could put that in there if you want me to, because I didn't write it.
I would appreciate that if that does happen.
I didn't handwrite it. I did type it out, so I do have it saved in my computer back there, so I could just add that and then print it out and put it back in the envelope.
Yes,
but
exactly.
To me, mailing a letter means more than just a strongly worded email, because you get it delete very quickly when it's in your hand and you're looking at it. So that's why I decided to write the letter.
Can I read it before you send it?
We'll see what happens at 9 o'clock. How about that?
Okay.
All right. And if it doesn't go our way,
okay.
At 9 a.m., then I'll show you the letter and you can see what you think.
Right.
How's that sound?
Okay.
All right. Very good.
I appreciate that, and it's a very nice sentiment on your part. And just remember, like I said, I walked in through the Cincinnati airport, which is in northern Kentucky, by the way.
Yes.
In 1984, 39 years ago. 39 years ago.
Yeah.
Peter King?
That's right. Peter King picked me up. Yeah. Me and my teammate, Pete Koch, we got picked up. And Pete sat in front. I jammed myself in the back. It was a, what was it called? Rabbit. It was called Volkswagen Rabbit, I believe.
Wow.
And Peter King was writing for the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Man,
picked us up at the airport some 39 years. I mean, it's a lifetime ago, man.
Yeah, I was 2 years old when that was going on.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, wow. And to think that if I was drafted 39 years ago, I think Chris Collinsworth was drafted in the second round in 1981.
Buenos tacos, amigos.
And he was the rookie of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the thing about Willie Anderson, who went in last year, people don't remember this because nobody ever thinks that. Now that Joe Burrow is there, it's a different story. I mean, they're on national television. They got Jamar Chase. They got T. Higgins. They got, a great defense. They got a young head coach. He's aggressive. All the great things that you want on a team. So now people are really focused on the organization. But, when Chris Collinsworth got there, nobody expected him to do what he did. He wasn't even the first wide receiver drafted by the Bengals that year.
Right.
They drafted a guy by the name of David Verser in the first round.
He's not a Ring of Honor guy.
No, he didn't last very long, but Chris went on to become the rookie of the year. And that was 3 years before I got there. So he got there, in 42 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
you tell me he's not in the Ring of Honor?
You think that Mike Tirico is advocating for Chris Collinsworth the way that I am advocating for you? Probably not.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
You and I are on the radio every single day.
Okay.
Those guys only get together, probably 19, 20 times a year to do games.
Well, what about Al Michaels, who spent a lot of time with Chris Collinsworth? You think he is advocating for him? He spent years and years and years with Chris.
I'm assuming he is or was or did. I'm not sure. He's now advocating for Prime TV to get better football games.
Yes,
and
he
that's
is.
His number one priority is to make sure that they get good games so people
But what
watch
does
them.
he care, really? He's going to get paid the same amount of money no matter what, right?
I guess so.
He doesn't care if it's a bad game or a good game.
You want to do good games. You want to remain relevant. That's the key.
I guess you're right about that.
And don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when we're dropping new content.